Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to a new video today on In the Stars. Now I know I've been going for a little minute. I had, a little bit of different obligations to take care of, but I didn't forget about y'all, so here I am, I'm back. So let's get into the new video. Let's start off from where we left off. Okay, so last week we hit Scorpio season officially. So that's what this video today is going to be about, what I'm going to talk to you guys about, Scorpio season. So first and foremost, happy birthday to all of the Scorpios whose birthday have already passed, or whose birthday might be today, or whose birthday is coming up. Happy birthday from me to you. From the deepest of my heart, go live it up, go turn up, do whatever it is that you do for your birthday. Alright, let's get into the video. So, since we're in Scorpio season, that means the sun has officially transitioned out of Libra season into the Scorpio constellation. So because we're in the middle of the fall season, or the middle of any season rather, those signs are always going to be fixed. And Scorpios are water signs. So as I stated back in one of my previous videos, that means they're a fixed water sign. And the way I describe fixed water signs, the analogy that I use, for them, is something like still water. Think about it, because when you're saying fixed means stability, persistency, things of those natures, kind of stuck in their ways, rigid, or stuff similar to those, or something similar to those synonyms, should I say. And water signs are, of course, water is intuitive, emotional, things of that nature. So a fixed water would, like I said, would be something as of still water that doesn't appear to move, something like maybe a pond with no flow, or maybe some water that you can see in your cup as it just sits there. If you remember from my past videos, as I said before, of quadruplicities and triplicities video, when you combine the two, water with being a fixed sign, this is someone who would bring stability to emotional things, or persistency to emotional things. So that means once they decide on something, once they put their thought into something that they feel emotional about, they will be persistent and carry that through, because that's what they bring. They have to feel it. That intuitive nature that they have allows them to feel it more than others, or they usually have a good feeling about things, or even a bad feeling about things. So once they do that, they will get stuck with that idea, or stuck with that action. So this can lead to them, or this has them being confident about things, or this can also lead to them being overconfident about things, like this can lead to them being arrogant. As I say, when you think of these traits, you have to also think of the flip side to that, because it's all about duality, just like our life in general. It's all about duality. So as I said, if they're confident about things, their strength can also be their weakness, so to speak. So as they're confident about things, or confident about the things they feel as far as the emotional or the intuitive nature of themselves, it can lead to them being also overconfident if they don't know how to control that about themselves. Also, if you think about it and you combine that stability that they have and mix with that emotional side of them, that also brings to that mysterious, secretive nature that they have, or shall I say partly, because the other main part that brings that mysterious, secretive nature that most Scorpios usually have, is their ruling planet, which is Pluto. Pluto traits that they give off are the hidden, mysteriousness, and also the occult. This is why Scorpios are attracted to dark things. They might like scary movies a lot, or they might like things of the hidden nature. They like mysterious things, and they project themselves as that way as well, as mysterious, hidden. You don't feel like you ever truly know them. They're kind of shut off people. They might let you know a little bit about them, but they won't let you know a great deal about them. You have to be really close with them to know some of those things, and sometimes they might not even let you know that, no matter how close you are. They're the type to take secrets to the grave. Other traits of Pluto are death and rebirth, transformation, beginnings and endings. So if you mix that with Scorpio's emotional nature, then that means that they're more bendable than other fixed signs, if you will, and especially on an emotional front or an emotional keel. As I explained before, and with my analogy, as they're fixed with their fixed sign, with their water sign being still water. Well, that might not be completely true when it comes to Scorpios, because it might look fixed on the outside looking in. For instance, the pond might look as if it's not moving, but once you're in it, it could be a whirlwind or anything else lingering in. That's what you can think about when you think about an analogy for Scorpios, because they keep those emotions bottled inside. But because of that Plutonian nature of death and rebirth, or transformation from beginnings and endings, they're always trying to fix themselves, if you will, or trying to better themselves. These are people who are more than likely always attempting to reinvent themselves in some kind of way or another, or who can take on multiple characters or multiple personalities. Not the mental health aspect of it, but I mean, as far as like they can appear like to be one person one day and then another person the other day. So if you, as I said, if you combine that with their water sign being emotional, this can lead to them being moody. So when they put their emotions into something, this allows them to being able to change whatever they tend to usually want to, because they're that determined, they're that persistent, that's that fixed in them. But when they're, like I said, when they put that, use that water influence that they have of being emotional, and then that transformative energy of Pluto, they're able to change what they can or what they want to change, for that matter. Now, if they're not completely capable, if they're aspecting in a negative way in other parts of their chart, this can go against them. This can lead to them not being in control of their emotions, or not being in control of the way or the route they want to change. They can change for the worse, so to speak. Another trait or characteristic of Pluto is power. Most of the time, most Scorpios, this is what they linger for power. Not necessarily in a way of necessarily being a president, but being some type of leader, some type of authoritarian, if you will, something similar to those things. So this is where you can contribute to Scorpio's known intensity from. They say that if you look you can recognize a Scorpio by looking them in their eyes. They all have the characteristic of being able to see the intensity inside of their eyes, so to speak. They're known for their eyes because they have those usually dark, deep eyes with full of intensity. Also, because of their powerful and instinctive nature, this can lead to them negatively, or in a positive way, being ruthless, if you will. Them always being power driven can make them ruthless in certain ways. As I said, it can be negative or positive. It would depend on the situation. But that same ruthless nature leads to Scorpios probably being the most vindictive sign out of all zodiac signs. That's because persistence is key. Think about it, as I said, fixed, mixed with those Plutonian traits, which leads to that vindictive and ruthless nature. So they're not going to forget their enemies. When I say the most vindictive sign, I mean probably the most vindictive sign, because they will never forget. It's hard for them to get over things, because they get stuck with those emotions that they feel. Though those emotions really get to them, it might have really hurt them. And they're also said to be some of the most loyal of signs as well. But if you cross them, they can be a arch enemy. So they can be either your best friend, or they can turn out to be an arch enemy of yours. Their intense and loyal nature also follows suit when it comes to matters of the heart as well. They can, in matters of the heart, or in love, lust, or things like that, they can turn out to be very clingy, especially if they feel really emotionally tied to you, or really emotionally have good feelings about you, that good intuition about you, that can lead to them being very clingy, like the claws that they have. Scorpios are also usually very attractable, and this is because of two things. This is because of that Plutonian stare, or those dark eyes that they have. Those eyes are said to be very seductive most of the time, and also because of that overall mysterious nature that they have. Usually when people meet people who are mysterious to them, it usually sucks you in, because you want to learn more about them. You want to figure out why they're so mysterious, or you want to figure more about their personality. These are things is what sucks people in to that whirlwind of Scorpios that's inside of that still water. People want to find out, even though those claws can be clingy that Scorpions have, people also want to find out what's underneath that shell. Also, when they have their heart into something or someone, whether they're really much when they're in love versus when they really like somebody, whatever the situation goes, is that emotional nature of them. If it's debilitated, then this can lead to them becoming lustful, because if you mix that emotion also with the way that they feel, their passion, shall I say, that can let them be lustful. That can also lead them to that also, if they're debilitated, that can also lead them to them falling in and out for the wrong type of people. As we said before, that Scorpios are loyal people, but they can be, if somewhere in their chart that's not aspecting in a positive way, in a positive influence, then that can lead them being lustful towards the wrong people, or being clingy towards the wrong people, falling in a lot of love towards the wrong people, giving passion towards the wrong people, because their intuition is telling them that they should go after this type of person or be with this type of person, when that might not necessarily be the right person, depending on, how the rest of their chart is set up, and the influences of that, or what's aspecting that Scorpio, their sun sign nature. Like as I said, if it's debilitated, that can lead them to being negative, or even if they're not balanced, with their natural energy, so to speak, that can lead them, as I said, being lustful towards the wrong type of people, or the wrong type of person. Work is the same thing. That passion, determination, persistency, that power driven, all of those characteristics still transfer over to the same thing. This leads to them being determined workers or persistent with their work. This also leads to them being natural leaders when it comes to work life, because they want to show, they want to have that powerful edge, and they also have good feelings, or they feel as if they have good feelings about things, so they might feel like the right route to take as far as when it comes to work. They're also pretty serious at times, so this leads to them, as I said, having that natural born leader mentality or style to them. So that works well for them in matters of work. Scorpios also, they won't be the type of co-workers or type of bosses that's going to sit there and be chatty patties or whatever, sit there and talk about their, pretty much just open up to you about their life, and just sit there and ramble on and on. As you might see some people who have co-workers or whatnot, and in a communicative work environment, people can become best friends or hang out all the time, or spilling all of their what goes on at their house or when they're not at work, type of thing like that. That tends to not usually be true for Scorpios, because of that mysterious nature, because of that secretive nature, the hidden nature of that plutonian that governs them that they have, and because of their persistent with their work, or stable with their work. If they're sitting there talking to you, it's going to most of the time usually pertain to work. Not to say that they're going to be this total robot where they're just going to go, only talk about work or whatever. Of course, they're still human at the end of the day, but I'm saying that the likelihood of them just sitting there going and on about their personal life to you at work, or especially if they don't know you at all, that's slim to none. They also might tend to want to work alone, or probably excel better at jobs where they can work alone. But the best jobs for Scorpios, in my personal opinion, sounds like someone who would where you have to use research work, where you can do some type of research, any type of investigator or some type of detective, not necessarily a police detective, even though that would suit them as well, but any type of investigator or detective. Like, they have different investigators for like financial purposes, or investigators or lawyers have different type of investigators, or so to speak, like that. Any type where they can use that research and skills, because hence the hidden Pluto, right? So they love to find hidden things. These are the people who like puzzles, who like to figure things out. That's what they excel at. So that's the type of work that will suit them best. Also, jobs dealing with science. Science is another known job, a great job for Scorpios to have, because think about it, when you think of science always has some type of research entangled with or entwined with it, or there's always a mysteriousness to science, because you always are finding out something new in the science field. So anything in the science field will also do well for Scorpios, as well as, also don't forget, Pluto represents the occult as well. So occultic, like astrology, or tarot reading, or things of those natures are also good for Scorpios. They because they already have passion for those things. They already desire those things. Already have they already might connect with those things. Okay, now for the rundown. Okay, so the best compatibilities for Scorpios are other Scorpios and any other water sign. Also, Virgo and Capricorn complement Scorpios well, because all of these different signs for Scorpio, they can connect on an emotional level together, or they can understand each other because of that emotional influence, or because with Capricorn and Virgo, because of that stability and that practicality that they might share with those signs. Scorpio's polar opposite, their polar opposite sign, is Taurus. The part of the body that rules the Scorpio is the reproductive system or reproductive organs. So as I said before, when I talked about that with other signs, they should be very careful of those reproductive systems and reproductive organs. They should do diet that complements those organs, because those are always going to be the most sensitive areas to whichever zodiac sign. In this case, it would be the reproductive system for Scorpio. So they should do complementary exercises and eat complementary foods that would complement those their reproductive organs, so that they won't suffer any type of injury or anything, because they are more prone to being injured or things of that nature. The glyph of the Scorpio also represents the reproductive system. It looks like an M, and connected to it is supposed to be the stinger or the tail, which is the stinger of the scorpion. Their lucky day of the week is Tuesdays. Their lucky numbers are 2 and 4. Their special crystal is a topaz. Their special flower is called a chrysanthemum and a rhododendron. I'm not familiar with these special flowers, but anyway, I will post a picture of them just in case a Scorpio might be interested, or just in case any other viewers might be interested to look these special flowers up. Now, they're the Egyptian god that is said to be associated with Scorpio is called Serket. She was the goddess of death. She was an underworld deity, and one of the animals that was associated her was, of course, the scorpion. And in Roman and Greek mythology, Scorpio is associated with Hades. Many of you might be familiar with Hades, which is the god of the underworld. And these these parallels or associations comes from Pluto, because Pluto is also considered the lord of the underworld, or the dark planet, as I said earlier, all of those things. But I will get more into talking about Pluto on a later video, because I'm sure, or I'm positively sure, that I will be doing a video on the planet Pluto in astrology, as well as I do all planets. But that was it. That's all that I had for Scorpio season today. So I hope you guys liked the video. As always, if you did, press the like button, press the subscribe button. If you want to stay in tune for future videos, write down in the comment section box down below, to let me know how you guys feel. And also, don't forget to click on the description box to follow me on my social medias if you would like to, of course. Again, thanks for your time, and until next time, peace and love, y'all.